Yes, my dear students, this is the class of International Business Operation, and this is the first class of IBO-1, and the study center of Fakirmon Autonomous College uh, allotted only 6 class for this IBO-1, means block 1 to block 5, and additional 1 class for the discussion detail as regards to block number 1 to block number 5, means total number of class is 6, and accordingly we have to manage within the stipulated time period, and the time period is only 1 hour per block or per one class. The question is, here I'm presenting my PPT regarding the particular subject that is called as a IBO-1 block 1. That is the topic is a concept and the dimensions of concepts and dimensions. In this regard, the myself, Dr. Durga Madhav Mahapatra, and lecturer in commerce, Fakirmon Autonomous College, Baleswar, and as well as counselor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, and I am presenting on this topic. And this topic is very emerging one, that is called as a, what is the concept of international business. My dear students, before go through this topic, I am only focusing
हमें तो
that
ईश्वरी मैम को कॉल कर दे तो
I am only focusing that
कॉल में काट दे रही हूँ यहाँ से
the
अभी
topic
जस्ट आलवा काट दे रही है यहाँ से
the topic is divided into the 4 units, and unit 1 is the introduction to international business environment, and unit 2 is the
तू उधर से कर ले मैं काट नहीं पा रही क्योंकि मैं सुन नहीं रहा था मेरे को
theories of international trade, and unit 3 is the balance of payment, and unit 4 is the instruments of trade policy. The question is, what is business, and what is the objective of business? The business means it is a one type of activity of related to buying. Is generally divided into different ways of doing the business. Either you may call it as a sole trading business, or partnership form of business, or company form of business. There are different ways the particular business are to be conducted. But the question is, the business is divided generally into two parts. One is industry, another one is commerce. And the business means it is called as a economic activity. Economic activity means buying and selling, and the business is divided into, in previously I said, the industry and commerce. Means industry means there are different types of industry, which is raw materials are converted into finished goods. And if you talk about commerce, that is also divided into two parts, that is called as one is a trade, another one is auxiliaries of to trade, means in addition to trade. The question is trade. Here trade means that is a divided into another two parts, that is called as a home trade or foreign trade. If you talk about home trade, that is maybe the local trade, maybe the state level trade, maybe the national level trade. If you talk about foreign trade, that may be called as a import, export, and entreport also. My dear students, the trade is generally divided into two parts. One is home trade, another one is foreign trade. And home trade is divided into three parts. One is local trade, state level trade, another one is national level trade. You may call it as a, that is wholesale or convert wholesaler to retailer, mean the goods transferring from wholesaler to retailer. And if you talk about in foreign trade, that is maybe import and export and entreport. The question is here importing of goods and services or exporting of goods and services or entrepot means the it's a just a middleman or mediator of trading activity that is called the interport. Interport. ENTREPORT means entrepot means, for example, if England imports goods from South Africa and exports to the European countries, that type of transaction or that type of economic activity or that type of trading activity are called as a entrepot. My dear students, the trade is divided into three parts. One is import trade, importing of goods; export trade, exporting of goods, importing from goods and exporting to the goods. Another one is entrepot means this is a mediator that is called as a, if England imports from South Africa and exports to the European countries, that type of a triangular series of activity are called as a entrepot. But here in IBO-1, that is a particular the topic is also divided into in a four units. That four unit, the first part is the only conceptual framework of international business, and next unit two is the only theoretical, and third one is the balance of payment, and for unit four that is called as the instruments of trade policy. The first one, the question is, what is international business? Business is meant for the only profit and loss, and business means it's called as economic activity. And business, but here international business means that is a cross border or cross national border of a business activity. Or you may call it as a international business means the business activities which taken place between the two countries, or you may call it as a buying and selling of goods and services across two or more national boundaries, or that may be located in a single country or maybe in a different other countries. That's called as a international business. International business, now the big enterprises are operated their business units, or they can start their own operation of business in different countries also. Not regarding to the only due, not only the focusing the export and importing, but also focusing towards the manufacturing in some one country and marketing same product to the other country. That type of business operation is also regards to as a called as a international trade, or you may call it as a some financing are to be arranged in a such a type of business, international trade and finance. You may also called as a that may be the called as a newest a new type of business, or maybe called as a multinational corporations or MNCs, or maybe called as a multi-dimensional of business operations. But somehow some knowledge of the how to do the international business, there is a necessity of in present days or recent days. The question is, what are the nature of international business? International business is involvement of two countries, and in duration of international business, somehow language differences is there, and international business based on many bases. Many bases means different countries have one different type of unequal distribution of natural resources, and that unequal of distribution can be equalized with a newest form that's called as a new base of business. It means if somehow some countries have an more iron ore, or some countries have one in some other services they are provided, and that unequal distribution can be equalized through this type of business. And also in a international business, it's a comparatively more risky. Why it is more risky? The question is risky means there is a different place, different region, and different route they are doing the business. International business through not only the only air or road or any type of sea route, they are also doing the business. You know, in a recent example, due to the blockage of Suez Canal by the particular ship, how the international or international business will be stopped within a 1 week. That's a great example. Means a Suez Canal is a way through which the particular international business can operate a certain areas. That's called as a that is the sea borne of activity, or sea can cause a greater way to do the such type of business. Another one is the government intervention. Government intervention means the sale and purchase always relates to not only the export and importing, but also some rules and regulations are there. So it's a nature of international business. Another one is payment in foreign currency. The currency exchange or the currency position is also changes day by day. Every day you see in today's date of dollar rate is how much, and in after 1 month that currency or due to the oil prices will be directly or indirectly impact upon the foreign currency, and that type of foreign currency of exchange also indirectly, or maybe you may call it as a directly impact upon the international business. But as regards to, if you talk about the what's the importance of or the position due to the international business, foreign exchange earning can be increased, and also proper utilization of resources can be made, and its growth and prospects, employment opportunities created, and it's created a employment potential of employment opportunities created in a particular country. For example, you see, if the Coca-Cola do the particular business in India, if LG company start their business in India, or if Nokia is started their operation at Chennai in India, there is a number of employment opportunity or are to be created due to this type of business. Another one is the standard of living of the people will be increases due to the international business. How it is possible, my dear students? Possible is better goods and products. You see, the Samsung is an international benchmark of a particular company. How he beat the Nokia, and this is the way of a quality of goods we are receiving. And whenever it is relates to the China company, how they are beat the in Indian companies, means due to the only provision of or providing, or it's called as availability of consumption pattern. Behavior will be changed of a customer of a in Indian scenario. My dear students, if you talk about some of the scope, there is a scopes are different. The scope of international is trading. Not trading means there is a some of the export
Excuse me,
house.
sir.
Yes,
Sir, can you repeat, please, many basis of nature of international business
yes.
again?
Next, first, I have to first complete it. Then one by one, I have to this.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Within a time limit, I can come. In nature means there is an involvement of two countries, and the language difference is there. Language means another one, the many bases. Many bases mean different with a due to the some of the natural resources. That base is something different. These are the some of the natures. But here the scope is the what is the scope of international business is a trading. Trading means exporting and importing of goods. Means there is a tremendous rise in different type of international organizations, different types of exporting houses, different types of start trading houses are to be open up in a particular type of business in a different countries. For example, if you talk about Maruti and Suzuki, the Suzuki is a Japanese company, and in different Japanese business houses are to their doors are to be opened up to trading their activity, and also service. Service means here it means increasing related to international, like as a banking services, like as a transport services, like as a IT services, like as a counseling services, like as a financial institutions as relates to the international business services are to be promoted through this type of business. Means, my dear student, here services, how the services are to be evolve a new type of business dimension. That dimension is not only the banking but also IT and also insurance services, transportation, tourism. Due to this, the international business operation can be make a good successful in the recent days. Another one is manufacturing and marketing. Here, manufacturing and marketing means the purpose behind is to cheap available of resources or local regions, or companies sell their product or some other countries through which the particular marketing can be made. Another one is sourcing. What is the sourcing? Means global sourcing for production. It through international business means that's a source of raw material or source of it's called as a cost of production may be minimal in a due to the international business. Means cost of production. If you take the example of Samsung, there is a very less cost of not only the mobiles but also different electronic products are to be available. If you take an example of a Korean company of LG, if you take the example of Maruti Suzuki collaboration of Maruti Udyog Limited, there is a less and cheap within the cheap raw material. There is a good automobile company that to be come up or they start their establishing their business units in India also. Another one, it encourages the FDI, foreign direct investment. In a block number 2, there is another topic is FDI. We have to discuss in detail. But here, FDI, foreign direct investment means the foreign investor can invest their production activities in different nations. Means the government always focusing to the financial structure or change through the FDI. My dear students, but there, even if some positive point of international business are there, some negativity is there in international business, or some complexities of international business are there. Even if some positive high standard of living, socio-economic issues, a wider market or foreign exchange, and risk exposure is less, there are different types of positive is there. But even if the positive, some complexities, some negative points are there. The major negative observation on my point is language difference. The question is language difference means every country has an own language. In India, you say there are different states have a different language, but you go to the China, the language is different, and to understanding the language is very difficult. And if you go to the Japan, there is Japanese language is there. If you go to the US language, British language is something different. Means when a trader do the particular type of international business, he or she should understand the language of the other countries language, so that the particular business may be successful. Means the various language should know, or various not only the language but also there is a need of know how the cross cultural management, how to manage their business with a cross cultural point of view. This is the way of observation as regards to international business. Another one is risky. What is risk? Here risk means there is a quantum of risk, or risk is higher in foreign trade or as compared to that in a international business. My dear students, please mute your mic also. And goods are transported from quite a long distances, so that is a more risky there. Another one is the government control. Sometimes That is another complexity of international. Now, and another complexity is there government control. Here, government control means, my dear students, please mute it. Sitaram Behra, please mute it. Sitaram Behra, please. Another one is that is called as government control. Government control. In a government control, there is a one necessary of how it is possible. Government control means there is a rules and regulations under the government for exporting and importing of the product, or various licenses are to be taken from the government. Means one country's government is different, and some other country's government is some of other type of rules and regulations are there.
सर आपका साउंड इको हो रहा है, डबल सुनाई दे रहा है.
How it is? I do not know what the problem is. Some of the students are Maninder Singh.
Sir, Ananya Aparajita.
Ananya Aparajita.
Muskan Agrawal, please mute it. Deepak Kumar Behram, please mute.
Sir, Ananya Aparajita. Sir, Ananya Aparajita has not muted yet. Ananya Aparajita.
Everybody has request mute your mic. Everybody has request. Deepak Kumar Behra, Maninder Singh, mute.
On your right. सर आपके राइट साइड में देखो एक तो वीडियो जहाँ पे ऑन है ना उसका माइक ऑन है.
My dear students, and this is the way through which different type of complexities are there. That is called as one is a language difference, more risk, and government control, and differences in laws, and difficulty in payments, and custom duty is there. And also there is a lack of information about foreign trader is also there. Another one is there are different ways of international business. The ways of international business means how to do the particular business is going on. There are different ways. One is through contract manufacturing, and second one is the licensing, and third one is that is called as through joint venture, and fifth one is the setting up wholly owned subsidiaries. And everybody know the licensing system and also franchising system. Licensing system means it refers to the agreement to a produce of a market or products of a particular company with another company in exchange of royalty based or fee based. Licensing, through licensing there is a royalty is there and fee is there. But through franchising, if you take the example of Narula's franchising, or Wimpy franchising, or NIT, or Tata's franchising, or Airtel franchising, or McDonald's restaurants franchising, there are different ways through franchising methods can be made. It means it refers to a special rights which are given by the producer to a trader to start up their business. Means special right can be given through franchising system. But in a joint venture, there is something different. Joint venture, it means it's a through partnership, or in which the company can share the increment of risk or management of profit in the deployment of production. This is in this way the joint venture of business can made. Another one is the setting of wholly owned subsidiaries. Wholly owned subsidiaries means somehow they are also a subsidiary of a, supposed to be subsidiary of a 50% voting power should be made by one company to another company and then start their business. In this connection, they do the way of entering the international business. And in the another first one is contract manufacturing. If you take the example of contract manufacturing, means in a one country it takes responsibility of producing the goods. In another country it can be marketing or marketing of services produced by the particular company. Means in a one part, one region that can be manufactured, in other part that can be marketing in some other else or somewhere elsewhere. That's the way through which contract manufacturing can be done. And my dear students, this is the way through which international business can be made in successful. Another one is these are the slides I have pointed out. Due to the lack of time, I am showing the particular slides. You see, in a particular, you see this. This is the exporting. If the entry of international business through exporting, there is a several conditions are there and several advantages there and disadvantages there. If you talk about in the licensing system, several conditions are there: imports and investment barriers, low sales potentials in targets, and large cultural distances is there. And say advantages there: minimization of risk, speed up of entry, and high ROI also there. And disadvantages are there. There are disadvantages related to licensing. There is a competition. Another one is the license period is also limited. If you talk about the entry of a joint ventures, the condition something else. Some political risk is there, high sales potential is there, import barriers are there, large cultural distances there, and in positive points are there. What are the positive points? Now overcoming the ownership, restricted practices, and also that is called as a potentials of learning is there, and disadvantage is there: difficult to manage, dilution of control, greater risk. These are the some of the disadvantages as relates to the joint venture of the particular type of international business. If you talk about direct investment, means foreign direct investment as a mode of entry, there is a import barriers, cultural distances, and also high sales is required where the particular investment can made, and some of the political risk is also associated. And some positive points is there: greater knowledge, specialized skills, minimize the knowledge. And disadvantage is there: high risky of modes and different way to manage this in this way also there. Another in the unit 2 that relates to the IBO, international business operation, that is called as a the theories of international trade. What are the theories? The question is what is theory? Theory means the trade means that is the exchanging of not only the goods and services within the two countries, within the two entities, or exchanging between the people or entities in different countries, but also somehow they may want to goods and services in a very sound in nature to deal with the some of the policies. That policy is based upon some theories. What are the theories? There are two types of theories are there. One is a classical or Ricardian theory. Another one is a neoclassical theory or Hexler, O'Heilin, Samuelson theory. One is classical, another one is neoclassical theory. Classical theory, also known as a Ricardian theory. Neoclassical theory, also known as a Hexler, O'Heilin, Samuel theory. And that is, if you talk about concept of total absolute advantage and competitive advantage, in this connection the Ricardian theory is totally they are focusing on competitive advantage. And also Adam Smith, before that, Adam Smith is focusing on absolute advantage. Absolute advantage means the country has, or its ability of a country to produce goods more efficiently than another nations. Means there is a some of the positive points of a one country has a good type of products they have produced, and that's called as a, there is a that should not be regulated, or that should not be restricted by the government agencies, and that is called as a market forces are not focused on this type of study, and that study is called as a absolute advantage. Absolute means absolute ability of a country to produce a goods more efficiently than another nation. And if you talk about just somehow reverse of, so not only the reverse, that somehow point of reverse of another theory is called as a David Ricardian theory. Economics, he has a concept is developed at 1870. He focuses the global efficiency gain of trade. Means if one country specialized in those products, he can produce more efficiently. But if you talk about absolute advantage and competitive advantage is more efficient than the absolute advantage, because in absolute advantages, specific country has a specific ability, but here he has specialized way of products manufacturing which is efficient than the other products. Means it's more competitive than the Adam Smith absolute advantage. Another theory is called as a, that is Hexel and Ohlin theory. The Hexel and Ohlin theory says he is a Swedish economist in the theory is totally based on different factors. Different factors means land, labor, capital, and the funds are to be also required, and equipment is are required, and resources or supply of demands are required, and that factor proportion theory is needed for to import of goods, or to be required of a that type of managing the goods in properly. It means these are the some of the factors which are required to establish there the particular type of producing of goods at a cheaper rate or cheaper price, and that's called as a Hexel-Ohlin theory. And my dear students, if you talk about in this is the overall concept of a unit 2, that is one is neoclassical theory and the neoclassical theory, but in unit 3 there is another concept is that is called as a balance of payment. If you talk about balance of payment, you see it's just like a statement. It's a balance of payment. It's just like a balance sheet. If you talk about in financial accounting balance sheet, it is a statement of all assets and liabilities to know the financial position of the business. But here, balance of payment means it's a statement which records all the monetary transactions that made between the residents of a country and the rest of the world during the given period of time. It is a statement of recording of monetary transactions or residents of a country and the rest of the world. It means the balance of payments balance of payment statement of country indicates whether the country is surplus or deficit of funds. Means exporting and importing, how the surplus and deficit can be calculated is just like a double entry system of accounting. It's just like it is a system of debiting entry and corresponding the entries. Means it's just like a accounting system. It is just like a accounting system of a country. It is just like a balancing between the two angles. What are the two different type of accounts are there? Later on PPTs I have to discuss. And it is just like a statement to know evaluate the surplus and deficit of the funds. Surplus means when the country's export is more than the import, or that balance of payment is subject to surplus, or if the balance of payment is, if the deficit means imports are more than the export, that is called a deficit. But answer is accounting system, answer is it is a statement, answer is it is a balancing of a surplus and deficit. But the question is why? What is the reason behind of a balance of payment? Now, only to know the financial economic status of the country. A country has an evaluation through the balance of payment, deficit balance or a surplus balance the country have. Means it is a statement, it's an indicator to determine the currency value. It also the government decide the physical and trade policies, and it's also analyze the economic dealings of the countries to with the other countries. My dear students, the balance of payment, the elements are different types. One is current account, another one is capital account, and third one is the financial account. There are different elements are there: current account, capital account, and financial account. Current account, the goods and services are there; capital account, assets are there; and financial account, investment and intangibles. And some way, some other books you say visible and invisible items are focused on through the balance of payment. But my dear students, in a current account, if you see the regarding the current account, that is called as a, it's used to monitor the inflows and outflows of the goods and services between the countries. Inflows and outflows means receipts from the different inflows, in which way the funds are to be inflows and in which way the funds are to be outflows from the countries. One country, if you talk about inflows, that's called as a receipts, or if you talk about outflows, that is called as a payments. Inflows means receipts from engineering or tourism, means some of the foreign exchange can be generated through transportation, through business services, through stocks, through getting royalty, patents, copyright, through which the receipts can made. And if you talk about in a current account in a other way, that's maybe called as a, I have already said, it's a visible and invisible trading or unilateral transfers and payments and receipts are there, and that's called as a, that trading of activity visible item may be the export import, may be called as a, you may say as a banking, IT, information technology. These are some of the invisible items are there. And some of the gifts, donations, that's a also unilateral transfers are focusing through the current account. But in a, if you conclude one remark in a current account, you may say that's called as a inflows and outflows of goods and services between the countries. If you talk about capital account, the capital account or capital transaction, it includes the purchase and sale of assets, or means it's like as a land and properties. It means the assets as regards to the purchase, as regards to sales. And the capital account also includes some of the taxes and purchase, sale of fixed asset. Taxes means, so if the by the migrants moving from one country to another country, or some of the tax will be imposed. In this case, the particular capital accounts can be maintained, and deficit and surplus can be managed also. There are different elements of capital account are there: loans and borrowings, investments, and foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange reserves, different central bank have different foreign exchange reserves are there. In India, Reserve Bank of India is there. In some other countries, there are different federal banks or some Reserve Bank of, if you talk about Pakistan, that is Reserve Bank of Pakistan is there, and in Nepal, some other Reserve Bank is there to monitor and to control the exchange rates. Exchange rates means fixed exchange rates are there. There are different fluctuating exchange rates or flexible exchange rates are there. If investments and loans and borrowings, these are the some of the issues. Loans means it loans from both different sectors located in a foreign country, means getting loans from private parties, getting loans from public sector undertaking, public sector units. In this connection, the capital account can be maintained. My dear student, if you differentiate the current account and capital account, you see current account is totally based on inflows and outflows of goods and services between the countries, and in a capital account, it is based on purchase and sale of assets like it is related to land and properties and others also. Another one is the that is called as a financial account. My dear students, financial accounts means that is the name itself shows as a financial. It means the flow of fund from the countries through different type of investments. Investments means which way? Not through business ventures, through foreign direct investments, through real estates, and through the that can be monitored, that can be prepared through the financial accounts. And these type of accounts can measure the change of foreign ownership also, or domestic assets or domestic ownership also. Means if you analyze it, financial account means verifying the particular statement, or when you prepare the financial account statement, not only do you put the only business ventures or foreign direct investment, how foreign investment can become up. Apart from these, some gold means some stocks, some equity. It means which country have on more gold, belongs to more gold, or more stock of other parameters, or equity market investment in not only the equity market. That is also a financial strengthness of a particular country. My dear students, these are the overall concept of a balance of payment. But in your book, there is in a detailed way they can describe related to the balance of payment in detail. But due to the shortage of time, I am only briefing the particular type of concept of balance of payment. My dear student, this is the fourth unit and last topic of the IBO-1. That is topic is called as a instruments of trade policy. What are the instruments of trade policy? I have already discussed. Trade means that may be the internal trade, external trade. Trade means internal trade may be the local trade, regional trade, national trade. And external trade means that is called as a external business, means exporting, importing, and entrepot of a particular type of business. The question is here instruments, what are the tools, what are the techniques which are used at the time of preparing the trade policy, trade document, if you called as a this is a instrumental one to develop the particular type of trade policy. Trade policy is necessary, and the government of India always focusing on trade policy. Only the main objective behind is to only to increase our foreign exchange reserves, and also create some employment opportunities, or new dimension of business can be focused. This is the major objective of a trade policy, and trade policy always changes time to time by the Department of Foreign Affairs. And also the another, my dear students, that is the concept of or instruments of trade policy. The question is, what is trade policy? I have already stated it is an instrument to regulate the foreign trade, and the government always restriction to protect the domestic industries also. Domestic industries. The question is, what are the instruments? Number one instrument is tariff. Tariff means tax. It means it is imposed by the government also. Government and we on a physical goods what are moved from one country to another country. For example, the best example in recent days, you say some the government always focusing the ban of sending the particular corona injections or corona medicines to the in foreign countries. That's called as a remdesivir tablets are not to be sent to the other countries. Then in this connection, I have to say that's called a tariffs means it is a tax imposed by the government on physical movement of goods into a one part of country to another part of country. Non-trade barriers means some of the government policies and practices which regulate and restrict the foreign trade also. What is quota? It is also instrument. Quota means it is a restriction, quantitative restriction. What type of restriction? Means up to that level means 49%, 32%, and FDI will be invest on print media on that percentage. FDI will invest in a particular pharmaceutical sector in that percentage, and that percentage, that quantitative percentage, also imposed by the government to regulate the international trade. Another one is subsidies. Here, subsidies means the payment made by the government to the domestic producers or exporters to expansion. Subsidies, the subsidies are to be exempted. Sometimes the subsidy can be given by the government to promote the goods or to expand the goods. The best example of subsidy is the artisans goods, or maybe handicrafts goods, or maybe you may call it as a MSME products, micro, small and medium scale enterprises products. These are the government always focusing on subsidizing the or exporting the to stimulate the expansion of their business, or to promote the particular type of business in such a situation. That's called as a trade policy. Another one is exchange control or balance of payment adjustment. How it is adjusted? Now only to regulate the foreign trade. Foreign trade regulation is necessary for adjustment. My dear students, another one is customs classification. Customs classification means here custom duty, and custom duty means there is a impose of tax, and the custom tax. What type of tax? What type of tariffs? These are to be classified. How it is valued? Who are the custom authorities to look into to the C1 activities, or in some other way they are exporting the goods, and what type of problems are arises. And these are the some of the positive points through which the particular business can more focused or taken into consideration at the time of internationalization of their business. Another is somehow there is a one part I have to present in my PPT. There is some ambiguity is there. What type of ambiguity? It means there is a arbitrary classification. The arbitrary classification means the value of goods, or value of goods of custom duty charging from in one products is something different, in other product that is different. That type of ambiguity, that type of arbitrary classification is also another negative point of a particular type of customs duty classification. Another one is sometimes authorities are charge higher duties which may act as a deterrent to trade. It is a negative side of a custom authorities, a negative side of a international business to do the such a type of business. But the question is, even if some of the items are there, some fixed exchange rates are there, and some flexible exchange rates are there. Exchange rates means it is fixed by the government or competent authority, not by the market forces. That's called as a fixed exchange rates. And fixed exchange rate means it is a central bank's attempt to keep the value of currency is fixed. Means the exchange rate fixed, or it's called as a it's a government bank mean fixed of rate of exchange in terms of other countries, that is called as a fixed exchange rates. In India, the currency price is fixed official, and that can be determined by the central bank. Central bank means Reserve Bank of India. It's a apex bank, and it's called as a bankers to bank, and it's a say undertake the buy and sell of a foreign exchange, and private purchase and sales are to be postponed. Means through central bank it can be operated, and this is the way through which the particular type of fixed exchange rates can determine. Indeed, and a flexible exchange rate is there. It's called as a fluctuating exchange rate. It's called as a demand and supply market forces also there, and also the country's situation also determined through a demand and supply of currency. When the demand and supply intersect at a one point, that point is price is decided, and that price decision is also exchange rate decision. If you talk about in determining the concerning about the currency, it means higher demand of a particular currency, and somehow the economy is always focusing on flexible exchange rates, and which can fluctuate one, and that fluctuation also applicable to the flexible exchange rate system also. But whatever it may be, the international business always relates to we welcome the MNCs, means multinational corporations. Even if multinational corporation means there are different companies are to be we are welcoming in present days, and government is always focusing on different type of strategies to promote their business. Startup India, Stand Up India, and also there is a some of easy of doing business networks, and also the schemes have to be imposed through the MSME sectors to develop the international way. Internationalization of MSME sector is there. Even if some of the positive points are there when the new company have come up, or they start their shop, or they start their own business. For example, the best example of in present days, that is called as a Tesla. You know, the Tesla is roaming here and there. Not only the roaming, he is moving here and there. Where the particular shop is opened up in India, and the government always focusing the such type of electric vehicles to become up a new strength, a new addition, a new way of doing their business, and that way of Tesla is starting their operation or starting their shop at in India. That's one type of, it is a welcoming nature in internationalization of business. And if you talk about any example like in a particular products, Kellogg's to in a different automobile, Nissan to other companies, Hyundai to some Honda to, there are different types of companies like LG, Samsung, Nokia. These are the various types of companies are there, and they are start their operation in India also, because India has a great potential, the land of potential through which the internationalization of business can done very way, because of due to the cheap labor force and the smoothness of government policies, regulations through which international business can made successful. If you talk about in internationalization of MNC, welcoming the MNCs, there is certain positive point of it increases the foreign investment, it increases the not only the employment but also optimization, utilization of resources also, technical developments, and monopolization of a market can be reduced through the this type of welcoming nature, and managerial development also a necessity in the present days. My dear students, these are the above all concept, but in a IBO-1 and block number 1, it covers only 4 topics. One topic is what is international business, what are the positive, negative, and how the international business is focused in India. It's a one topic. Another topic is the that is called as a balance of payment. Another topic is the for related to instruments of international trade. So there are different topics as relates to the particular subject. If my dear students, if any questions in this regard, you can also ask me, or you may put the through chat box and I can answer this question properly. My dear students, internationalization business not only the put a high living standard of a high living standard of a particular country's people, but also it's a growth and nature of a foreign exchange rate also. And thank you once again. Um, in the next class at the same time 5:30 to 6:30 for the block number 2 I have taken on 18th April 2021. And if you have any question, you have to put in the chat box, then I can answer it properly. My dear
Uh,
Good evening,
students,
sir. Good
yes,
evening, sir.
Muskan Agrawal, please.
सर क्या हम ये पीपीटी ले सकते हैं फॉर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
ओके, यस, पीपीटी ले सकते हैं, बट इट्स ए ड्यू रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम आवर क्लासरूम 5 आरसी भुवनेश्वर. द डॉक्टर बेज इज देयर. I may request Dr. Bez, he may share my PPT to you people through email. And yeah, I have request to Dr. Bez, what's his answer, I do not know. I may share also.
ओके, थैंक यू सर.
Thank you,
But
sir.
in the next class, you also ready for at a before 15 minutes. You should present in the particular platform so that it is very easy for me to take up classes very easy.
Okay,
Otherwise,
sir.
some
Sure.
disturbances is there, some sound networks is there. So it's very difficult one for to take smoothly. So I request
Sure,
everybody
sure, sir. Sure, sir.
at a next day at the same time. I hope that 62 students present in before 10 minutes fast, and everybody has to request and present at a right time and right approach, and right etiquettes should be enforced with a completion of international business operation block number 1. Today it is completed, and tomorrow the international business operation IBO-1 block number 2 started in a
ओके
right
सर.
time. Thank you.
जी सर, थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.